Gang, this is Devin. So we're on Milestone 6.3. The first thing we're going to want to do is install Ansible. So this is the way I do it. Your mileage might vary. If you're an experienced Ansible user, you can do it a different way if you want to, but you're definitely going to need at least these two packages. And if you haven't installed Git already, you're behind the times. Install Git on your Xubuntu box. You'll go ahead and install the repository for Ansible and then install the Ansible package itself. You should have a modern version. You can check that. And I'll run this code just to show you the version I'm running. They update this all the time. This is a here doc. It's a way to, if you haven't done this before, it's a way to write a file out just with a command. And all we're doing is at the root of our home directory, we're creating a file, a hidden file, .ansible.cfg. And all it's saying is that for all these Ansible hosts that are out there, please ignore or please do not do strict host key checking on them. Because if you do that, your Ansible script just won't run. Okay, so you can not have this, right, and then have your Ansible script fail, or you can add this and have it pass. So there you have it. So this gets us through the Ansible dependencies. So what are we going to do? We are going to take our Blue One firewall and we're going to configure it with Ansible. We currently have a DHCP address, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to connect to that DHCP address using Ansible, and we're going to essentially upload a raw configuration file to our BIOS box, commit it, save it, and then reconnect on the new IP address, the new non-DHCP, the static IP address for our BIOS box. So I'm going to go ahead and test Ansible's connectivity out with a ping, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. So remember, we ran that get IP utility function that we created against a VM. Make sure to do that against your new firewall, your turned on firewall Blue One. And it should return, a DHCP IP address, right? The host name is going to be whatever the VM name is, so firewall Blue One, and it should also have the MAC address, and we'll be using that a little bit later. Up here, you'll notice that I essentially copy pasted that information to just start this inventory file out. And then I added some other variables. I added WAN IP. This is what I want. I want this IP to be changed to this one, right, after I run my cool Ansible script. And I want that second interface to have an IP address of 10.0.5.2. It needs to have a network defined in the NAT source rules allowing this one out, right? It's going to have a name server of our domain controller, right? 10.0.17.4. And the gateway is going to be, our 480 WAN gateway 10.0.17.2. We may adjust this as we move on through the videos, but that's where we're going to start. Also, BIOS has a weird place to put its Python interpreter. This is where it is. And if you look over here, I've opened up a bash terminal, and I'm going to go ahead and execute my ping. So the command is, and you've done this before, probably in sys255, sys265. So Ansible, go ahead and limit the play to members of the BIOS group using these variables, right? I'm going to go ahead and pass it this inventory file that you're looking at right here. I call it firewall blue one vars.txt. I'm going to pass in the username because it's not root, it's not deployer, it's just BIOS. And then I'm going to prompt it to ask me for the password, right? So, by the way, I'm not snoring. That is my dog next to me snoring. Okay, so we successfully demonstrated that we have SSH access to our box. So the next thing we're going to do is going to configure it, but that's for another video. So I'll see you in that video. So make sure you can get this proof. Make sure that your inventory looks somewhat like this. You might be asking yourself, why is Devin using the old school INI file format for for this inventory? Well, uh, you can do it both ways. So we're gonna use both JSON, right? And we're gonna be using this tabular format. This lends itself very well. Let's say I had 100 iOS boxes. I could write code in a loop, right, to create this line. Whereas if it was in JSON format, it would just explode the entire screen. This seems to work well for this use case. All right, bye now.